Welcome to Stoic Spectacled King, valued Stoic friends. Today, we will delve into a topic that occupies many of our minds, perhaps one of the most desired, viewed through the unique lens of ancient Stoic philosophy: how to become wealthy starting from zero. More precisely, what might be the Stoic secrets to earning wisely and successfully, like Warren Buffett? However, let's issue an important warning as we begin our journey. This video will not offer you magic formulas or promises of getting rich overnight. If that's what you're looking for, perhaps you're in the wrong place. Because Stoicism promises us a wealth far deeper, far more lasting than the zeros in our bank accounts. This wealth is an unshakable inner peace, like a ship that doesn't sink even in stormy seas, a robust character that doesn't bend or break, and an impenetrable fortress we can build in our minds against the inevitable ups and downs of life. The interesting and perhaps ironic part is this: precisely when we aim for this inner wealth, external success, and yes, financial prosperity often enters our lives as a natural consequence, a byproduct of this solid foundation. Stoic wisdom shows us how we can navigate the path with reason and virtue, without becoming slaves to the ambition of making money, without compromising our values. In this video, we will explore the Stoic principles one by one, discovering how we can integrate them with the goal of building a financial structure from the ground up. We will learn which actions and beliefs are worth standing firm on without regret. If you are ready for this mind-opening journey towards both inner tranquility and potential outer wealth, let's begin together. Let's begin. What is true wealth? Modern society usually whispers just one answer: more money, bigger houses, faster cars, ever-increasing zeros in the bank account, as if this were the sole measure of happiness and success. But let's pause, take a breath, and listen to the thoughts of the Stoic sages from 2,000 years ago. For them, wealth was less about the thickness of your wallet and more about the tranquility of your soul and the strength of your character. Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of Rome's most respected philosophers, perhaps summarizes the Stoic perspective on this most clearly. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. It might sound counterintuitive at first, right? What do you mean, wanting less is wealth? Yes, because the Stoics understood that our desires are limitless, and as we try to satisfy them, we actually become more dependent. Just like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. True freedom, and therefore true wealth, lies in reducing our dependence on external things and turning towards our inner resources. What are these inner resources? For the Stoics, true wealth rests on these four fundamental pillars: reason, virtue, tranquility, and self-control. These are values that cannot be taken from us. Even if markets crash, we lose our jobs, or whatever else might befall us. This is a storm-proof true fortune. But what about money? I can hear you asking, is money unimportant then? No, the Stoics did not despise money, health, or reputation. They classified them as preferred indifference. What does this mean? Think of it this way: some things are fundamentally neither good nor bad, meaning they are indifferents. However, among these indifferents, some are preferred because they make life easier or more comfortable. Money is one of them. Being healthy is preferred over being sick. Having sufficient money is preferred over poverty. But beware, these are preferred, but they are never the ultimate good. The ultimate good is always living virtuously. Let's consider an example. You have a severe headache, an unpleasant situation. You want to take a painkiller and feel better. But let's say you have to steal the painkiller. The Stoic would say, no. Suffering pain is not as bad as committing theft. Similarly, becoming wealthy by compromising honesty, by trampling on others, is not better than living a modest but honorable life. Money is a useful tool when obtained virtuously and used wisely. But it is never a goal for which we should sell our souls. Our main goal is to develop the capacity to remain virtuous, rational, and tranquil under all circumstances, whether we are millionaires or have a modest income. Because material wealth obtained without this solid inner foundation is fragile and fleeting, like a leaf tossed in the wind. Can a person truly be considered rich if they have immense wealth, but lack inner peace, live in constant fear of loss, have broken relationships, and weak character? Think about the people you see around you or in the media who, despite great fortunes, are unhappy, unsatisfied, even embroiled in scandals. Money alone does not bring happiness or true wealth. Often, if there is an inner void, money can make that void even more apparent. This is why the first and most crucial step on our journey from zero to wealth is to transform our perception of wealth. It's about shifting our thermometer from external achievements to internal values. Let's first build a fortune in our minds and souls. When we understand what true wealth is, our relationship with money will also become healthier, more balanced, and ultimately more successful. After laying this solid foundation, we can move on to the other steps. Now, having reframed our perception of wealth, we come to a fundamental Stoic principle that determines where we should direct our energy: the dichotomy of control. This is perhaps the most powerful mental tool taught to us by Epictetus. It's very simple, yet incredibly profound. Some things in life are under our control, and others are not. Being able to make this distinction clearly is vital for our inner peace and our external goals. So, what is under our control? Our thoughts, beliefs, judgments, the decisions we make, and the actions that result from those decisions. In other words, everything pertaining to our inner world and our will. And what is outside our control? Almost everything else: the state of the economy, stock market fluctuations, our employers' decisions, what others think of us, our health, the weather, natural disasters, and of course, the element of pure luck. Why is this distinction so critical on the journey to building wealth from scratch? Because our energy is a finite resource. If we expend this valuable energy worrying about, complaining about, or getting angry over things we cannot change, like agonizing, "Why did the stock market fall again?" or lamenting, "If only that unexpected bill hadn't come," we won't have the strength left for the areas we can control. Instead, we must direct all our power and attention towards what we can control, deciding how much to save, cutting back on our expenses, allocating time to learn a new skill, working harder, defining our investment strategy, and, most importantly, managing our reactions to events outside our control. Focusing on what you can control shifts you from a victim mentality to the driver's seat of your own destiny. This is one of the most practical and powerful Stoic tools you can use to achieve your financial goals. At the same time, it eliminates the unnecessary stress and anxiety you feel about things you cannot change, opening up a tremendous space for inner freedom. Stoicism is not just about thinking. It's about taking action, about taking the right action. For the Stoics, the highest aim was to live virtuously. But what do we mean by virtue? It doesn't just mean being polite or good. Virtue is the art of living excellently, in accordance with human nature, that is, our capacity for reason and logic. And this art not only provides spiritual satisfaction, but also, surprisingly, forms the foundation for sustainable and meaningful success and thus potential financial prosperity. The four cardinal virtues of Stoicism, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, are the compasses that will guide you on your journey from zero to wealth. The first virtue is wisdom. This is the ability to distinguish between good and bad, right and wrong. In the financial world, wisdom means discerning which investments are sensible and which are deceptive, not jeopardizing long-term goals for short-term gains. Analyzing market turmoil with cool-headedness instead of acting in panic. Learning from our mistakes and not repeating them. Consider this when presented with a get-rich-quick scheme. Who acts more wisely? The person who approaches it with instinctive skepticism, conducts research, and weighs the risks, or the person who jumps right in? Wisdom enables us to prioritize reason over haste and emotion in our financial decisions. This is what underlies Warren Buffett's investment philosophy. Don't invest in what you don't understand. Be patient and make rational decisions. The second virtue is justice. This means acting honestly, fairly, and respectfully towards others. In a financial context, justice translates to keeping your word in business deals, giving employees their due, being transparent with customers, and paying your taxes honestly. In the short term, it might seem possible to gain more profit by acting unjustly. Perhaps you could sell low-quality goods as high quality, or use the fine print in contracts to disadvantage the other party. But in the long run, success not built on justice is like a sandcastle. Reliability and reputation are among the most valuable assets, especially in the financial world. The solid relationships and reputation you build by acting fairly open doors for you, earn loyal customers, and help you stay afloat even in times of crisis. Have you ever wondered why we trust some businesses or individuals implicitly, while avoiding others? The answer often lies in justice and honesty. The third virtue is courage. This isn't just bravery in the face of physical danger, but also moral and mental resilience. The strength to do what we believe is right, even in the face of difficulties and fears. Financial success often requires stepping outside our comfort zone. Courage allows you to take well-researched, calculated risks, perhaps making your first investment, starting your own business, or investing in a new skill. Courage enables you to stick to your strategy when markets fall instead of panic selling, to learn from a failed business venture and try again instead of giving up, to speak up when you witness unfair financial practices. Many of us have fears, like, what if I lose? Or what if I fail? Courage is the strength to take steps guided by reason and wisdom. Despite these fears, the fourth and final cardinal virtue is temperance, or self-control. This is the ability to manage our desires, impulses, and pleasures through reason. In the financial realm, temperance is perhaps the most obviously manifested virtue. It means creating a budget and sticking to it, not sacrificing long-term goals for instant gratification, living within your means, and avoiding uncontrolled lifestyle inflation, even when our income increases. Advertisements, social media, our peer group, all push us towards greater consumption. Temperance is the power to resist these external pressures and discern what we truly need. Controlling your spending, developing saving discipline, and patiently accumulating wealth are cornerstones of the path to financial freedom, and all are possible through the virtue of temperance. As you can see, these four virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance are far more than abstract moral ideals. They are practical tools for building a solid, sustainable, and meaningful financial structure from the ground up. Filtering every financial step you take through these virtues not only helps you reach your goal, but also makes the journey itself honorable and satisfying. Because for a Stoic, Success is not just the destination, but also how we arrived there. We understand the importance of virtuous action. However, acting virtuously, especially in financial matters, often requires battling two powerful forces within us: the pull towards instant gratification and the desire to avoid temporary discomfort. The modern world constantly whispers messages like, "Buy now, pay later, don't postpone life, you deserve little treats." Yet, Stoicism teaches us the exact opposite. True freedom and lasting success come from restraining momentary impulses and enduring today's discomfort for the sake of our long-term goals. The code to financial discipline lies in wisely managing this pleasure and pain equation. The Stoics viewed pleasure and pain as natural parts of the human experience, but they did not assign absolute value to them. That is, something being enjoyable didn't automatically make it good, nor did something painful automatically make it bad. What truly mattered was how we responded to these feelings and whether we filtered them through reason, uncontrollably chasing pleasure or fleeing from. The slightest difficulty would render us powerless, like a leaf tossed in the wind. Stoic wisdom aims to recognize these emotions, understand them, and manage them in line with our long-term well-being. Financial success is one of the most concrete applications of this principle. Building savings from scratch, investing, eliminating debt. All these generally require the ability to delay short-term gratification and endure short-term discomfort. Buying that new phone right after getting paid provides instant pleasure, doesn't it? But saving that money and transferring it to your investment account might feel a bit painful, boring, or restrictive at that moment. Budgeting, cutting expenses, choosing to stay home while friends go out for an expensive meal. These might seem like small sufferings, but just as an athlete endures the pain of training for a medal, or a student endures the boredom of studying for a better future, this kind of discipline is essential to achieve our financial goals. Be honest with yourself. How many times have you bought something you didn't really need just because it was on sale? Or filled your online shopping cart to feel better when you were feeling down? Or felt, "I must have one too," after seeing a friend's new car or house? These are common impulses driven by the search for pleasure and a sense of lack. The Stoic approach requires stopping at the moment of impulse and asking, "Do I really need this? Or am I trying to satisfy a fleeting desire? Does this purchase bring me closer to my long-term goals or move me further away?" Even this brief moment of questioning can be incredibly effective in preventing impulsive spending. Think of Warren Buffett, who, despite his billions, still lives in a modest house and avoids ostentation. This isn't stinginess. It's the discipline of using money rationally and for long-term value creation rather than for instant gratification. To strengthen this self-discipline muscle, the Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. They would sometimes intentionally experience less comfortable conditions, eating simple meals for a few days, taking cold showers, wearing more modest clothes. Their aim wasn't self-torture. It was to see how far their comfort zone could stretch, to better appreciate what they had, and to become more resilient to hardship. What does voluntary discomfort mean in a financial context? Perhaps not eating out for a month. Maybe using only public transport for a week. Maybe declaring a no-spend day or week. Or feeling the pain of spending more acutely by using cash instead of a credit card. These small exercises show us how little we actually need to get by and increase our resistance to consumerist urges. Remember, we are constantly surrounded by messages encouraging consumption. Ads tell us what we're missing. Social media shows us others' perfect lives, and sometimes even well-meaning friends might encourage unnecessary spending. not allowing these external factors to drag you into an uncontrolled spending frenzy, is a Stoic victory of self-control. This isn't about living in deprivation. It's about making conscious choices. It's about making decisions based on your own values and goals. When you can manage pleasure and pain with reason and discipline, not just your wallet, but your soul becomes liberated. Instead of money managing you, you begin to manage money. The journey towards financial goals is, unfortunately, not always smooth and straight. To be honest, it rarely is. Just when things seem to be going well, an unexpected expense arises, a hoped-for job offer doesn't materialize, your investment loses value, or perhaps worst of all, you lose your job. These are inevitable facts of life. When faced with such obstacles, what is often our first reaction? Disappointment, anger, fear, anxiety, even resentment towards ourselves or the world. Thoughts like, why me? This isn't fair. What am I going to do now? Spin in our minds. It is precisely at this point that Stoicism offers us one of our most powerful mental shields. Amor fati, Latin for love of fate, is much more than merely accepting or tolerating the events that happen to us. It is embracing everything that occurs, good, bad, neutral, adopting it as if we had chosen it ourselves, and even loving it. Because according to the Stoics, everything in the universe happens within a chain of cause and effect, and everything that happens is as it should be. As the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote in his personal journal, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the obstacle itself becomes the new path forward. So, how can we apply this philosophy to financial difficulties? When an obstacle arises, such as sudden job loss, after overcoming the initial shock, instead of asking, why me? Amor fati teaches us to ask these questions. What can I learn from this situation? In what direction is this unexpected event forcing me to grow? Which inner strength that I hadn't noticed before can I use now? How can I emerge from this difficulty stronger, wiser, more skilled? These questions shift our focus from the role of victim to that of an active problem solver. Imagine you lost your job. Yes, this is a frightening and stressful situation. It might feel like the end of the world at first, but looking through the lens of Amor fati, this situation can also be an opportunity for reevaluating what you really want to do, taking that training course you've long postponed, perhaps a starting point to launch the business you've always dreamed of, reviewing your expenses and learning to be more frugal, realizing the strength of your social network that supports you in tough times. Many successful entrepreneurs recount that the turning point in their careers was actually a failure or being laid off, because that obstacle forced them onto a new and better path. It has happened to me, and I'm sure it has happened to you. Moments when you realized how beneficial an event that initially seemed disastrous turned out to be in the long run. Amor fati is proactively embracing this awareness. Another example, an investment you made suffered a significant loss. The initial reaction might be regret, perhaps anger at yourself. But with Amor fati, what did this teach me about my risk tolerance? Which research steps did I skip? What should I do differently next time? It might be an expensive lesson, yes, but the insights gained from this lesson can prevent much larger losses in the future, or an unexpectedly large car repair bill. This isn't just a monetary loss, but also an opportunity to test your budgeting skills. Perhaps look for ways to earn extra income or appreciate what you have more. Amor fati makes us resilient in the face of financial setbacks, because it allows us to see difficulty not as an end, but as a beginning, an opportunity for transformation. This mindset enables us, when we fall into the inevitable potholes on the financial road, to find creative solutions, adapt quickly, and become a little more resilient each time, instead of giving up. Just as a muscle grows stronger by lifting weights, our character and financial wisdom develop through overcoming challenges. It's important to remember, Amor Fati is not passive resignation or fatalism. It doesn't mean saying, well, that's fate, and stepping aside. On the contrary, it means fully accepting what has happened and focusing on how we can best navigate this situation through our reactions and actions that are under our control. It's truly the art of turning lead into gold. Every obstacle you encounter can be a sculptor's chisel shaping your character and setting your financial future on a firmer foundation. You just need to know how to hold that chisel correctly. So far, we've discussed what to focus on for our financial goals, how to use virtues, and how to turn obstacles into opportunities. However, overarching all of this, there is one fundamental resource that makes everything possible or impossible: time. Money comes, money goes. Health fluctuates. Reputation can be gained and lost. But time is the most precious, most limited, and the only truly irretrievable resource bestowed upon us. Every second, another grain of sand falls through our hourglass, and there is no way to put it back. The Stoics lived with a profound awareness of this fact and taught it to us with a powerful reminder: memento mori. Memento mori, remember you must die. It might sound a bit gloomy, even frightening, but for the Stoics, this was not a call to pessimism or nihilism. Quite the opposite. By reminding us of life's brevity and fragility, it was a call to live. This moment, the only moment we truly possess, fully, meaningfully, and wisely. Contemplating the inevitability of death is a powerful motivator to stop procrastinating, stop wasting time on trivial matters, and focus on what truly matters. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. So, what is the significance of memento mori and the value of time for someone aiming to get rich from scratch? Very simple. Your time is the most fundamental capital you possess to reach your goal. How you spend your money is important, yes, but how you spend your time can be far more decisive in the long run. When you spend your time on empty pursuits that don't bring you closer to your goal, on hours of mindless social media scrolling, on unproductive gossip, or on activities merely aimed at killing time, you're actually wasting not just your time, but your potential income, your learning opportunities, and most importantly, your life itself. Ask yourself, how many hours a day do you consciously dedicate to self-improvement? How much time do you spend learning a new skill, reading a book, increasing your financial literacy, working to become better at your job, investing in your health, or simply stopping to think and plan? In return, how much time is spent zoning out in front of the TV, browsing the internet aimlessly, or complaining? Memento mori is the alarm bell to shift this balance in our favor. It reminds us that every moment is a valuable unit that can be invested. Building a financial structure from scratch usually requires extra effort, learning, and focus. This means investing time. Maybe instead of watching TV shows in the evening, you'll research side hustle opportunities. Maybe instead of going out on the weekend, you'll attend an online course. Maybe instead of gossiping during lunch breaks, you'll read financial blogs. These might seem like sacrifices, but they are actually about prioritization. It's about understanding that your time is limited and you need to use it to achieve the highest possible return. This return doesn't have to be purely monetary. Wisdom, skills, health, and inner peace are also valuable fruits of your time investment. Did you know that Warren Buffett devotes 5-6 hours a day to reading? Because he knows that knowledge and contemplation are the investments that yield the greatest compound returns over time. Using time wisely doesn't just mean working harder. It also means focusing on the right things and eliminating the unnecessary. Identifying which tasks are truly important, learning to say no, eliminating distractions, and directing our energy towards activities that create the highest impact are also Stoic dimensions of time management. Remember, being busy is not the same as being productive. Managing your time is, in fact, managing your energy and attention. Lost money can somehow be recovered by working harder, by investing more wisely. But a lost hour, a lost day, a lost year never comes back. Therefore, as you progress towards your financial goals, constantly review how you spend your most valuable capital, time. Use memento mori not as a source of gloom, but as an inspiration to live every moment consciously, purposefully, and virtuously. Because wisely managed time enriches not just your wallet, but your entire life. Up to now, we have discussed our perception of wealth, our focus of energy, virtuous action, managing pleasure or pain, our perspective on obstacles, and time management. Now, we will focus on an aspect of Stoic wisdom that perhaps strikes right. At the heart of modern consumer society, minimalism and the art of managing our needs. Stoicism is, by its nature, a minimalist philosophy. Because, as we saw right at the beginning, it argues that true wealth and freedom lie not in having many things, but in needing few things. This principle is an incredibly powerful lever in achieving the goal of financial freedom. What does today's world constantly whisper to us? Buy more, consume more, you'll be happy. Every new product seems to extend the list of things we don't have. Advertisements, social media, even the people around us constantly try to persuade us to want more, to believe we deserve better. This never-ending cycle of desire not only creates mental fatigue, but also drains us financially. Even if our income increases, if our desires increase faster, we never feel enough, and we run breathlessly on a financial treadmill. Have you ever felt like you are still struggling to make ends meet despite a pay raise? Or said, "I have nothing to wear," while your closets were overflowing? This is a classic situation where wants have overtaken needs. Stoicism, however, teaches us to pause and make this fundamental distinction: our needs versus our wants. Our true needs are actually quite basic and limited: shelter, food, clothing, health, safety, social connections. It's hard to live without these. Wants, on the other hand, are endless: a bigger house, a luxury car, the latest phone, designer clothes, exotic vacations. Wants are not inherently bad, but confusing them with needs and becoming dependent on them threatens both our inner peace and our financial health. Epictetus says, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." Similarly, what often causes us financial stress is not the inadequacy of our income, but our exaggerated judgments about our needs and our unmanaged desires. Adopting a minimalist lifestyle is applying this Stoic teaching to modern life. Minimalism is not just about reducing possessions. In a deeper sense, it's about consciously deciding what is truly valuable and necessary, and getting rid of the excess in our lives, not just things, but also unnecessary expenses, time wasting, activities, and mental clutter. Think about the unused items in your home, the money, time, and energy you spent acquiring them. Now they just take up space, maybe gather dust, and even create a mental burden. Getting rid of them not only frees up physical space, but also provides mental clarity and a financial advantage. Financially, the benefits of minimalism are very clear. Less spending when you need fewer things and practice conscious consumption. You naturally spend less money. This eliminates impulsive and unnecessary purchases in particular. More savings and investment. Spending less automatically means you have more resources available for saving and investment. This is a critical factor in the goal of becoming wealthy from scratch. Less debt. Since you don't fall into consumption traps, your need to borrow decreases. You can pay off your debts faster or live debt-free. The first step to financial freedom is often getting rid of debt. Less stress. You worry less about money because your cost of living is lower. Your ability to stay afloat increases even if your income decreases. More flexibility. A lower cost of living gives you more options. You don't have to work at a job you dislike just to pay the bills. Options like changing careers, starting your own business, or working less and living more become possible. Being minimalist doesn't mean living in poverty or giving up all pleasures. It means determining what is important to you and focusing your resources on those important things. Maybe travel is very valuable to you, so instead of spending money on unnecessary items, you save for travel. Maybe eating quality food is important to you, so instead of frequently buying junk food outside, you focus on cooking at home with good ingredients. Minimalism is not deprivation. It is prioritization and intentionality, learning to be content with less, being able to distinguish our needs from our wants, and resisting the dictates of consumer culture is the door Stoic wisdom opens to financial freedom. This not only eases your wallet, but also frees your mind. You are no longer a slave to the desire for more possessions. You become the master of money, knowing how to be happy with what you have and manage your resources wisely. On our journey to building wealth from scratch, focusing on goals, making plans, being disciplined. These are all very important. However, within this forward-looking focus, there's a trap we can easily fall into, overlooking what we already possess, the good things currently present in our lives. We become so fixated on what's missing, on what we want to achieve, that we forget the value of what we have. It is at this point that Stoic wisdom offers us two priceless treasures: gratitude and contentment. These not only nourish our souls, but also make our financial journey more peaceful, more meaningful, and ironically more sustainable. The Stoics advised cultivating a deep sense of acceptance and gratitude towards the order of the universe and our own lot within it. Gratitude is a state of consciousness to be felt not just for great blessings or achievements, but even for the simplest gifts of life. Being able to breathe, being healthy, having a roof over our heads, the relationships we have with loved ones, opportunities for learning and growth, the beauty of nature. The list is endless. Regularly pausing to recognize what we have and feel thankful for them frees our minds from a constant sense of lack and dissatisfaction, because it's human nature to quickly get used to what we acquire and immediately lock on to the next goal. Gratitude slows down this adaptation and allows us to see the richness of the present moment. But my goal is to become wealthy. How can I be expected to be content with what I have? You might think. Here lies an important distinction. Gratitude and contentment do not mean giving up on goals or becoming passive. On the contrary, it means being open to growth and progress while appreciating our current situation. This is a very powerful point of mental balance. While striving for future goals, simultaneously knowing the value of what you currently have and being grateful for them. This approach makes the process of achieving goals much less stressful and anxious, because you haven't tied your happiness and inner peace solely to the future realization of a financial target. Happiness is here and now. Future successes will just be an added bonus. A content mind can maintain a sense of inner wealth and tranquility regardless of external conditions, because it hasn't indexed its worth and happiness solely to the numbers in a bank account. The journey of earning money or accumulating wealth can sometimes be quite draining, constantly monitoring markets, taking risks, competing. Gratitude and contentment offer us a refuge, a balancing element on this journey. Try taking a few minutes each day to write down 3-5 things you are grateful for. It might feel forced at first, but over time, you'll notice how this makes your mind more positive and more abundance-focused. Consider the Stoics, who said that what makes even poverty more bearable is the right attitude towards events and gratitude. Furthermore, gratitude and contentment are vital even after achieving financial success. Often, people think they will be happy once they reach a certain financial goal. When they buy that first house, get that promotion, see that specific amount in the bank. But when they get there, the happiness is either short-lived or never arrives, because a new, bigger goal immediately appears. This is the more trap. Contentment prevents us from falling into this trap. It teaches us to celebrate our achievements, to pause and breathe at the point we've reached, and to enjoy what we have. Otherwise, while constantly trying to climb the next peak, we never get to see the view from the plateaus we've reached. Think about the people you see around you or in the media who seem to have everything but are still unhappy, restless, constantly wanting more. Their deficiency is usually not money. What's missing is the feeling of gratitude and contentment. A mind that cannot see the abundance of what it possesses is condemned to feel poor, no matter how much it earns. Conversely, a person who, despite modest means, feels deep gratitude for what they have and knows how to be happy with little, possesses true inner wealth. This is a fortune that money cannot buy. In conclusion, on the journey from zero to wealth, gratitude and contentment are fundamental Stoic virtues that should not be neglected. They are inexhaustible resources that make the journey more enjoyable, reduce stress, guarantee satisfaction even when goals are reached, and most importantly, remind us that true wealth is measured not just by the amount of money in the bank, but by how peaceful and happy we are with what we possess. And so, dear friends, we come to the end of this journey here at Stoic Spectacled King. As you've seen, Stoicism doesn't offer us the secrets to getting rich quick, but something far more valuable: a roadmap for building both inner and potentially outer wealth with wisdom and virtue. From transforming our perception of wealth, focusing our energy on what we can control, making virtuous action our compass, managing pleasure and pain with discipline, embracing obstacles with amor fati, knowing the value of time with memento mori, managing our needs through minimalism, to discovering inner abundance through gratitude and contentment. All these principles aim primarily to enrich your mind and soul, not just your bank account. Remember, Stoic wisdom first teaches us to build an inner fortress, peace unshaken by external conditions, a strong character, and the ability to face events rationally. Only when you lay this solid foundation will the steps you take towards your financial goals also be more solid, more conscious, and most importantly, aligned with your values. Ironically, when you focus on inner wealth, outer success often follows. But even if it doesn't, you already possess the most valuable fortune. Wealth built on Stoic principles is not just about dollars and cents. It is a state of lasting well-being woven with meaning, peace, and resilience. It's no coincidence that behind the success of figures like Warren Buffett, one finds not only financial acumen, but also stoic echoes like patience, discipline, rationality, and long-term thinking. Start applying the ideas shared in this video to your life, even in small steps. Consider which principle resonates most with you right now and work on it. This journey is a marathon, not a sprint. What matters is taking slightly wiser, slightly more virtuous, and slightly more peaceful steps each day. Thank you for watching Stoic Spectacled King. We hope this conversation has offered you a new perspective on your own journey to wealth. We will continue exploring deep topics through the Stoic lens in our next video. Until then, stay wise and stay peaceful.